Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Ay, we too lit, yeah, yeah. Gotta go, Th3 yeah. Gotta go, Th3
I like that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you may find yourself as you listen to this, and you're tuned into the only sports podcast with brains and bars. You tuned into another episode of It's a Black and White Thing. I am your host, I guess I'll say 1/3 of the dynamic trio.
Finally.
You can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, searching Brains and Bars, and subscribing. If it's iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment there. For all other content, just follow us, man. Follow us. Also, you can go to YouTube, search Brains and Bars, and check out all the content. This video and others as we continue to go and grow will be on our YouTube page by searching Brains and Bars. Shout out to us crossing our first milestone. We crossed the 25 subscriber milestone. So thank you. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for subscribing. I do not take that lightly. You can also follow us on social media, all things at Brains and Bars, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So as you can see, I'm not here doing this by myself. So let me introduce one of the founding members, the founding member of this podcast platform. Ward, what's going on with you, man?
What's up, y'all? Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm really enjoying these Facebook Lives, the Zoom pieces, having Loso on, man. It's just added a different dynamic to the podcast that we've been doing for what, 4, 5, 6 years, it seems like?
5 years.
Yeah.
This is the most consistent we've ever been. It took a pandemic.
It took a pandemic. And so now that you guys are listening and you realize we've been doing this 6 years and only have 25 subscribers, I promise you, we are a lot cooler than that.
Well, we just started the YouTube page, though.
This is true. We just started the YouTube page. Yeah, that makes sense then. So, no, thank you again. Thank you again for helping organize this, man. I appreciate it. It's good to be back. It's good to be healthy. And it has been a week, to say the least. Here we are. We're here to recap Ultimate Madness, to talk about our predictions from last week, to talk about the battles that happened Saturday, and maybe to give some predictions in regards to what's to come. And then maybe we'll jump into some other topics as well. Like you said, basically our co-host now, sporting the new T-shirt that should be available to you guys in the next, I would say maybe a month, Loso, or
yeah.
You know, so it's a piece that Loso and myself wrote called "It's Okay to Not Be Okay." That we'll be putting together like a video for it and have T-shirts available. But Loso, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your day, especially when you got a battle this week. So I know that time is precious, and we appreciate you jumping on, man.
Thank you so much for having me. And Facebook, this is a milestone because I finally made A1's intro. I've been I finally made the intro, bro. So this is like, I need to like clip this video up and put it somewhere, bro. Like somehow, like a GIF on my wall. I don't even know if that's possible. But I'm here, man. Thank you so much, man. And like Ward has already said, man, bro, this week has been a week. But I'm glad we're here, man.
That's what's up. So Ward has already mentioned while we're here this evening, we're here to discuss Ultimate Madness. The second half of round one concluded this weekend. 4 really interesting battles, some better than others. And so, you know, we'll kick it off. I'll say this. Well, I guess there was some controversy, a little controversy here and there.
I would say so.
Say what?
How did we do on our picks?
So all right. So the pros, which being you two guys, both went 3-1.
Okay.
You know, and the Joe here went 2-2.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, I can redeem myself.
I'm like the Terry Bradshaw. Didn't Terry Bradshaw like really, really good on NFL on picks on Sundays?
I think so. I don't watch a lot of the pregame, so I'll take your word for it.
So whenever I edit this down, I'm gonna put the records wherever I'm gonna put them down here. All right, so we can keep tally through the tournament. So,
all right, cool. So yeah, so I'm a little upset. We'll get to that in a bit. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so 4 good battles went down this weekend, and we'll do the same way as we did in the first weekend. We'll start from what we consider to be the best battle, or the, I guess, least spectacular battle to the best battle. I don't want to say the worst battle because I don't think there were truly any bad battles. So, and this is my ranking. This is not their ranking, so they feel free to disagree. I think Loso disagreed last week that he thought Jada Nightwing and Sick was the best battle. I thought that Castro and Chaos was the best battle. So let's start at the beginning here. I'm going to start with Big Hand versus Brooklyn Hands. Interesting battle. Brooklyn, like, I often joke that I feel like there are like maybe I can name on probably one hand, maybe 2 hands, the amount of battle rappers where I feel like, yo.
That's bars. Hey, 2 hands? Okay, I see you.
I'm scheming. Let me work.
Bars. Like,
Let me work. But but I feel like I can name on 2 hands the amount of battle rappers that might actually hurt me for real. Like, it's not just rap. And I think Hands, Brooklyn Hands is one of those people. And so, got a little tense in the building, you know what I'm saying? Hands saying, look, I'm just gonna say BK. BK felt like Hand went a little bit too far with the touching and the pushing and stuff. I felt like Brooklyn still kind of wanted to have a conversation with Hand after the battle. Yeah. But I felt like that battle was okay. I feel like it was a cool battle. I had Hand winning round 2 and 3. For me, I felt like Brooklyn won off of aura. Like, I felt like his believability, his aggression, it was not necessarily about his ability to rap. Because I feel like Hands stumbles in round 2. He spends pretty much 85 to 90% of his third round rapping at Suge, who I feel like he really might want to get it shaken with. I mean, just kind of, but anyway. And then Hand, I felt like had a solid second and third and should have won 2-1, in my opinion. So I thought to you guys, like, what were your assessments of that battle, and who did you think win or won?
I enjoyed the beginning of the battle. I enjoyed Brooklyn Hand's first round, and then I really enjoyed Big Hand pushing him. I thought that's what you do. You're always taught, when you go to the new school and the biggest bully, you walk up to him, and you throw down with him. And, so I think he was trying to neutralize that aura. He was trying to say, like, I'm not about to sit up here because you're 4 or 5 inches taller than me and let it look like you're going to bully me this whole battle. So I'm just going to push you, in this first round and show you that I'm with this stuff, and so I like that, even though it's like unwritten rule, no touching to that extent or whatever. I think some of these bigger guys like the Shugs and Twerks and Hands, and I think they have like a little bit more leniency with that because they know that they're bigger guys. You know what I mean? So I liked it. I gave Brooklyn Hands the first round. In the second round, like you said, I thought Brooklyn Hands stumbled a little bit through it, and I thought he might have even ended the round early, almost like in a Jersey type of fashion. I think he was like he said at the end of his last bar or whatever. And then, the third round he went at Suge. They said that it was a tie, and they went to a fan vote. And myself, and I don't know how many other people said, yo, where was the fan vote? Because when Jay the Nightwing and Real Sick went to a fan vote and I was on my app, I saw the fan vote. I was able to vote, Yep. This time it didn't pop up on my app anywhere, And so, like you said, after the battle, they go to shake hands, and there's a little bit of awkwardness, and then Brooklyn Hands is like, "Come here, I want to talk to you," and they go to the back or whatever. And at that point, I'm like, "Yo, it's about to go down." You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they went outside and scrapped, and then basically they came back in and was like, "All right, Brooklyn Hands wins." But it was just odd to me. I do think that even though Big Hand technically won the battle, that Brooklyn Hands is the better battle rapper. And so that might have had something to do with it. And he's just more known. And let's put it this way: he quote unquote allegedly, I think, choked out Averb. You know, he had some beef with Calico to where he, you know, it's been noted in battles and different blogs and stuff that he, you know, has some words for Calico. I don't know how the truth is, but I know what the storyline is. And so that aura in his name is kind of like pushed him to some of these situations. So maybe for the tournament's sake, I much rather see Brooklyn Hands and Ace Amin. But if we're just talking about like who won round by round, I think Big Hand won the round too, the second and third like you did. So,
hey, Loso, I'm about to let you jump in, but real quick, I just want to say shout out to the comment section who said, hey, if it ends up 2-2, let them take it outside to figure out who gets that final vote. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, go ahead, Loso. Go ahead.
I'll just echo what you guys said. I mean, Big Hand won the battle. If I was a judge, I'm voting Big Hand. As a fan, I wanted to see Brooklyn Hands advance though, because like he was more captivating throughout. And honestly, I was a little surprised with how well he was rapping when he was rapping. There were certain things that he was saying that I was like, yo, I didn't expect this much from him. But I agree with A Ward. I do think that if there was a fan vote somewhere out in the universe that people did vote, I do think that a lot of it was a lot of people's votes were based on the fact that they already had a pre-existing knowledge of who Brooklyn Hands was. I know for me, that's how I heard of him. I before the only battle I've ever seen him was the G-Lo battle, and then before that, it was just the Averb and the Calico situation. But I thought it was a good battle. I actually thought that Big Hand's third, when he started coming off with the Amazon angle, I thought it was gonna be good. I thought he was going somewhere. It kind of fell flat a little bit, but I was intrigued that he was using the angle and that he was trying to, like, you know, dilute this aura that Brooklyn Hands had. But unfortunately, Brooklyn Hands advances, and I'm not mad, and I'm actually excited to see him next week as a fan though. But again, if I was a judge, I would have voted the other way. So
yeah, like I said, decent battle, man. And I'm hoping to see more. And I'll save kind of a little bit more of commentary on Hands for once we get into talking about the quarterfinals, right? The quarterfinals? No, semifinals, I guess, right? Yeah, semis. Yeah. No, quarter. Sorry, quarter. Because you have the other side of the bracket has to find has 2 more rounds before they make it to the final. So, quarterfinal round. So, let's jump into the next battle. We'll jump into Easy the Block Captain versus Don Marino. We all got the Brooklyn Hands prediction correct. This is the one where we all got it wrong. If you saw the video we posted on our podcast page, yikes! If you saw the photo or the video I posted on our podcast page, we all took Don Marino. Loso said Don Marino 3-0. Now some of that I think was biased, but I think you did go on to say like, yo, this is probably the easiest battle. You know, I guess competition-wise, Ward echoed the same thing. And Easy, I think this is a bigger upset than Castro over Chaos.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll just kind of give my quick thoughts and not throw it to y'all. I got a chance to kind of get a little bit of a second viewing of this battle. Don might have got, to me, the second round is what matters. I thought Marino got the first round. I thought that because of the stumbles from Marino, not necessarily that his material wasn't good, I thought that Easy got the third. Easy's material was good as well, so I don't want to downplay his material in that third round. But it comes down to the second. There were some things that Marino did that surprised me, that I liked. We talked about his rapping not being as good. And in that second round, he switches up his cadence and flow, and he does some different things. And so like I enjoyed that. And I wanted to see him try to do that some more in his future battles. When watching it back, it didn't come through as cleanly as I would have liked, but I liked him trying that. So with that, I'll throw it over to you guys.
Go ahead, Loso.
So I'll say this, and I know you guys will think that I'm still on the bias train, but up until Easy received 3 votes, I kept thinking to myself, Don was going to win the battle. Even after the battle was done, I knew Don had stumbled in the third. I just felt like he had better material though, and I thought he was battling, but now maybe I underestimated Easy the Block Captain second. I have to watch that second back. I remember after the second round, I said, I think that second was a close round. You could edge it down, you could edge it easy, but I know how fans want to play it out, so it's going to be 1-1 going into the third because that's the storyline they want. In the third, A Wood had spoke to me and he made a genius remark. He said, like, yo, you leave the door open, you can't get mad at the results. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did not close the round out like how he should have. And even though I know I thought he had the best round of the whole battle. I thought that game night bar, you know, the operation is mine. Like, yo, that's the closest thing we had to a game night. I thought that was the best line of the whole battle. I thought Don's first round about Easy to Block Captain's girl. I know some people were saying it got redundant after a while, but I thought every bar was fired throughout the whole angle. Unfortunately, though, I'm not gonna short Easy. Easy went in there. He wasn't trying to outpunch Don. He went in there and was doing what I kind of thought he was going to do, but he did it really good. And it was, that Mexican struggle, you can't tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to downplay your Mexican struggle, and this is what I'm going to say. So I know that when the judges went around, I'm not sure if you guys were following the face-off, but in the face-off, there was an accusation that Tony Bro had said something to Easy the Block Captain, which is crazy because I thought if the battle's close, to save face, Tony was going to go Don Marino. And he did. Tony said, yo, this battle's too close to call, all the stuff. And he chooses Easy no matter what, which I thought was a bold move. And so the hip-hop is real. Knowledge even did the same thing, who was a part of that whole situation. But at the end of the day, man, I spoke to Don, and I said, look, man, that's just the result, bro. Like, you can't say that you got robbed. That's not a battle where you could say you got robbed. It was just like, hey, it was what it was. I thought it was a good battle. I was entertained throughout the whole thing. Don Marino, he slipped up in the third. You can't do that. And Easy did not have a good first for me, but he did have a good second and third. So, hey, that's what happens, bro.
All right, here we go. All right, you ready? Let me stress for this. All right. If you remember when we had our predictions last week, I told you that this was the 14 and the 3 seed, right? I remember I told you. I said Castro and Kid Chaos was like the 5-12, and at this one, that it's possible, but as long as Don does everything he does and he needs to do, that there was no way he was going to win this battle, that he was going to lose this battle. That's what I said. Don did not do everything that he needed to do to win the battle. In hindsight, I'm not putting this on Don. I underestimated Easy the Block Captain. I thought Easy was much better than I thought that he would be in regards to, like what Loso said, not playing into the, I need to punch, I need to do this. He went in there and he was himself. He was solid. He was very fluid throughout. He brought the same intensity all 3 rounds. And he made you believe that he was like rapping like he wanted to win the battle. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's not fair to us, but sometimes with higher profile battlers, it's almost like, I've seen better, Don. I've seen a better Don. And we might not have seen a better Easy. And so those rounds might look a little bit different. When Don came out in the first round, it was cooking. This is what I expected, To me, his second round was lighter. And Easy came with a crazy angle and just very, very passionate or whatever. And I had it 1-1 clear going into the third. And so another thing, right? And I want to say this much. I admire when battlers try to come out of the box that they're in and do different things. And I admired when Don Marino decided, you think I can't rap with him? Well, watch this. The auth in it, the both in it, the doth in it, got me looking at the block like autism. I admired that. The execution was still poor, in my opinion, right? Like, I appreciated that he tried to rap, but he just doesn't enunciate like well enough. You know what I mean? So like when you're going to go out of that box and do it, you have to make sure you do it very, very well or just scrap the idea, And so I admired it from a battle rapper standpoint, but I thought it could have been way more captivating if he would have loosened up and been like, and kind of styled with it, rather than it seemed like he was being Don and rushing through it, and the autism bar hit, and it was cool. Yeah. but it just didn't. I felt like it could have been a haymaker, and it ended up being like a real cool part of his round. So there was parts of the battle that I thought, I said it on Twitter. If we want to go by material, sometimes we know that Easy the Block Captain is not going to captivate us with haymakers the way that Don is going to say, such and such slid into your BM, like lines like that. They were just crazy. The game night, the heart character Jumanji line. We know that, right? But we also just can't base battle rap off material, And I told Loso this. Whenever Easy was in his face going, bullshit, bullshit, bull, it wasn't rhyming at all, It was like even probably an ad-lib part of the round, but it was something I remembered and thought was super cool. Like he was so comfortable and so passionate. He was just like yelling in his ear, like on some like grown man type stuff. You know what I mean? So the door was left open. I thought with Don stumbles, I sent the message. I said, Easy's about to get this round, and he didn't stumble. He, in basketball, there's obviously a score, right? But you know, in March Madness, they always say, don't let that Cinderella team come out and hang with you. Don't let it be tied at halftime, and give them the belief that they can beat you. You know what I mean? Like come right out the gate and punch them in the mouth. And I feel like if Don would have had a second round like his first, we would have been like, you know what, it's a wrap, But he didn't punch him in the mouth. He didn't punch him in the mouth and make it appear to be like over from the beginning. He let him hang around, and then he slipped up. He had 3 turnovers in the last 45 seconds, and Tracy McGrady came out and scored 13 points in 8 seconds, and or something to that extent. But I'm just saying, like that's kind of how the battle went. So I agree, it wasn't a robbery. If Don would have won, I would have said, please, I hope. If you go and say, wow, it should have never been that close. I won by the skin of my teeth. You know what I mean? Like I would hope you would go back and look at it and say, I shouldn't have won that battle. I see what I could do better. You know what I mean? But so we probably spent a little bit too long on this battle, but I rock with Marino's pen. I think that he does put together some very, very creative stuff. I think that in the small room with nobody to cheer and nobody to get crazy and performance heavy type stuff, like I said, that microscope's on you. Some of those things, some of those little transition statements you thought that you had locked in that now turn into it's a different monster. And I did a quiet room battle against a guy with a dog and 7 people, you know what I mean? And all I'm saying is rapping with nobody reacting is not the easiest thing in the world. So I salute Easy the Block Captain, and I think that he deserved the win.
So go ahead.
Like, because it sounds like, are we saying this? Easy didn't win the battle. Don Marino lost it.
No, I'm not saying that.
So you guys feel like Easy went in there and took it rather than Don dropped the ball?
Yeah, because you still got to rap.
Yeah, so Easy the Block Captain to me wasn't bad. So it wasn't like Don just choked out of these rounds or whatever. Like even if Don doesn't stumble in the third, right? I think that people are still arguing that the third might be debatable. You know what I mean? And Easy in the second too. So I'm not gonna say Don. I'm gonna say Don definitely didn't put him away. And like I said, he left the door open. But it's just that Don has all of the things that like he has the ability to go out there, and I don't know, he just fell off to me, man. He just fell off to me until the game night bar. He lost, and it wasn't anything memorable, and to be one of the guys like Ace Amin and Don, which I consider like the 1 seeds, like I feel like you have to show that,
Yeah, and so I'll add this small little piece to it. Like the only way you can take, like he said, the door's got to be open. You still got to walk through it. And so had Easy had a terrible round, if Easy had stumbled and choked himself, like you can make the argument for Don winning that round, and then maybe you have criticism for both of them, kind of like the Bando Pat battle, right? I think there was a lot of constructive criticism from the judges about that battle, about their performances. I think Easy did what he needed to do to get the W. And so, no, I don't think it was so much Marino losing it. I think Marino fumbled, pardon the pun, but I think he fumbled and Easy picked it up and he capitalized. I want to ask you guys a question about Easy. And this is a critique I had, and you guys can tell me if I'm off base. I feel like there's a difference between aggression and yelling, right? And this is something that I've critiqued Ward about in terms of his pitch, how amped up he can get in the moment. And I call it controlled aggression. It's being able to project and be loud without overexerting yourself or your voice. And I felt like at times, Easy is just flat out yelling. Like it's not aggressive. And I feel like with his voice, like I feel like he can be quieter and still give you that aggressive feel without going to 11. So I asked y'all, what do y'all think watching that battle? Was he crossing the line between aggression and yelling?
So maybe. However, Don Marino is the kind of battler where it doesn't matter if you're yelling at him or you're being have controlled aggression against him. It still looks like you're in control. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think him yelling at Fonz is going to work. If he has controlled aggression against Fonz, like I think it works much more effectively. However, like Don he doesn't have the image, he doesn't have the believability, per se, to where yelling or aggression is going to make much of a difference in the battle coming from Easy to Block Captain.
Loso?
I agree. I think that I do agree with you, though. Easy does sound like his pitch kind of like goes really, really high, and he's just yelling. So I think against Fonz, I mean, it's going to look different, like what A-Ward said, rather than him staying in front of Dom. But I do think that if Easy is watching this, if he does click on this, Easy, I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but what A1 just said is really important, and it's going to help with your delivery. So make sure that when you're trying to come off aggressive or if you're trying to deliver something on a high point, just know it's just vocal projection, man. Just make sure that you know how to deliver that, because it does sound like you are screaming at times.
Yo, I feel like y'all just really kind of gave me that like pat on the back with that answer. Like, bless your heart, you tried. You tried.
No, it was good, bro. That was good.
Because like that's something that's like it's very small, and if you did have that combo with Ward, that's good. Like it's very small, but it helps in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shout out to the comment section. I promise we did not pay this gentleman to say this, but shout out to Andres Miguel, says that 2-on-2 was not even close. Y'all bodied Geechee and oh boy. I feel like that's disrespectful by not knowing over his name. It's B. B. Hey, come on, Andres, hey. You got to be better than that. You at least got to know B. name.
All you need to know is A. You don't need to know what comes after A. Talk.
All right. So let's keep it moving. Let's jump into this next battle, man.
Yo, shout out to my guy Eli B watching too. TA Rail, man. We appreciate the battle rappers that are tuning in. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure, like you said, I see some of the comments and stuff, but I never know when is a good time to like just say what's up. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, jump in if you see it, because I know when I watch the playback, when you share it, people are responding on your page that I don't see. So if y'all see people commenting, just kind of jump in, like especially when there's a segue between battles. So feel free.
Cool.
All right, so next battle. Fonz. No. Ace Amin Bad News. Ace Amin Bad News is the next one on the list. Very interesting battle, a little bit of intrigue. What's in the envelope? What's in the box? A little bit of intrigue of what was actually in the envelope. We don't know. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Bread was on the line, maybe. I don't know if they actually shook on putting a little bit of money on the line, but there was talk about that. Ace Amin comes out, to me, has a really good first. I think Ace Amin had some issues in his second. That, to me, the second is Bad News' best round. I feel like Bad News stepped up, and then Ace Amin comes through in that third. I can't remember the bar in particular, but it's something about broadcast major. I don't know if that was a round that had the wide receiver line in it. Although
pick six, the ushers, the bad, I'll make bad pass. He got a pick six.
Pick six. Yeah. I feel like that was his best round. It was fire. Although the Colorado line.
You didn't like that?
I didn't like the Colorado. I didn't like the Colorado.
Now, so Bad News is from a place called Rocky Mountain in North Carolina, right?
Well, what was it? Collar what?
He said, give everything above your Colorados, autos, like semi-autos. Do you remember when, like, O-Red had a similar bar when he said, grab the Silverado and pick a truck up or something like that. He had that bar in a smack volume that was kind of same type of play on words, but it's like an automatic. So,
but no, I thought I had it 2-1, a close, like I said, a close battle, a good battle, and I think I don't know if it was you, Ward, who said like bad news, like he doesn't lose battles, or if it was you or Loso, whichever one you said it, but I feel like he's kind of baby John in that way. It's like John is really hard to beat. And like as someone who's starting to watch more and more bad news battles, he doesn't beat himself. And I know you said this, he always comes prepared. And he brought 3 dope rounds. And I thought even though he didn't pull out the envelope, I thought it was a dope move from him to address it and not leave it out there. So I'll toss it over to you, Loso. I'm going to start with you since you did not pick a winner. Your thoughts on bad news, Ace Amin?
Yeah, so I thought the battle was a really good battle. I thought it was high energy. Ace Amin won, and I had Ace Amin winning if I was just going off rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like just straight. Ace just had the better bars. I understand what Tony Bro said as far as there were some outdated bars that News said. You know what I'm saying? But like what you mentioned, like it's tough to beat News, but it's tough to beat News in a setting. You know what I'm saying? It's really tough to beat News in a specific setting because the crowd feeds off of his energy, man. Like when News is on 10, you just have to stand there and you just have, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're out rapping, even if you're rapping circles around him, you know when it's his turn, he doesn't care what you said and he could still have the same material, if you guys think it's basic, he's still gonna take that and turn it up. Case in point, I always say this example, man. He spit to me before he battled Tay-Rock. He told me that Free Willy line, and I told him, I said, bro, you got to rewrite that punchline. I don't think it's going to be that crazy. He said, nah, Los is going to be crazy. I was just like, bro, I jump over Rock and hit the wave like I'm Free Willy. Like, I was like, at least fix the setup. He just said, nah. He went in there, rapped it the same way. It was the biggest haymaker of the night. You know what I'm saying? And people feed off of that. But in that specific battle, I thought that Ace Amin was the better battler. It was a close battle, 2-1. I did not take off points for News bringing up the envelope thing. Even though the fans had no clue what was in the envelope, News addressed the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? He brought up the fact that, yo, you called me. You told me you wasn't going to say anything. You gave me your word as a man of integrity, but it's some people lying on my name and got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wrote it, bro. Like, he wrote it. He had to write it that day because he didn't know Ace was coming with that envelope. He wrote it that night, memorized it. It was about, 4 to 8 bars? He gave it at least 4 to 8 bars, bro. It was it wasn't forced. It was smooth. And I thought it had a point to it. And then he goes into his round effortlessly. So I actually gave him props for it. I know one of the judges actually knocked him for doing that. But I thought I gave News points for that. But Ace Amin with the Paul Bearer line, the pick 6 line, I mean, there were just things that he was saying that showed that there was a different level in writing for that. But it was a close battle, man, and, I enjoyed it.
All right, breaking news. We're about to go to you, Ward, but we have someone who is entering the chat. He's been given access if we can see him.
Yeah, I'm all types of messed up, man.
Yo, is this Sting? I'm waiting on somebody to like come down, like, and just, hey, yo.
Okay, is this better?
There we go.
Turn it sideways. Okay.
Turn that sideways.
Saga is in the building. How are you?
Yo.
Yeah, forgive me, man. Forgive me. Today was my niece's birthday, so I just came over there.
Happy birthday.
I had to drop in, man.
You already know, man. You already know. Well, right now we're recapping Ace Amin and Bad News. A1 and Loso's kind of already given their, opinions on how the battle went. So I'm gonna go next. If you want to go after me, feel free to.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Cool. So, Ace Amin won the battle in the weird way, right? So we talked about how Don Marino and Easy, he didn't try to out-punch Don Marino. He just kind of was himself, you know what I mean? So the thing about Bad News is he likes to punch. He does. He likes to use wordplay and different things. And when he does have those old bars or the bars that just don't hit, it almost works against him. You know what I mean? And so even though Bad News was kind of locked in, just like Easy to Block Captain was. I just think that like some of his dated material and the fact that Ace Amin just had like, I mean, he had very memorable lines and he rapped very well and comfortable and matched all of that. I think that's what inevitably lost him the battle. I had Ace Amin taking the first, even though he got cut off about a bar or two early. I had Bad News taking a second, and I did not penalize him. Like I said, man, if anything, it really upset me, you know, that Rita said she was taking points off for him talking about something, you know, or falling into the trap. You know what I mean? Like, defense in battle rap is everything. Like if I talk about how Cortez is going to speak about such and such in his third round and he doesn't speak about it or whatever, you know, it's not a negative thing. You know what I mean? It's you never know what your opponent's going to say. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he just brought the envelope the night before. So, like, I just thought that was very – I'm not mad at her giving Ace the battle, but I am mad. You know, you have to say, like, you know, if you're going to use that as a reason, you need to, like, really go back and, you know, kind of decide how you're looking at these battles, you know? So I gave Bad News a second. And then in the third round, once again, I gave it to Ace. I thought News needed some kind of crazy other angle or something, you know, something to stand out because bar for bar, Ace was just beating him like every round, you know. And then the second was special for Bad News, but Ace just got him in the third. I want to say there was like a couple little word fumbles in the second, kind of like that Ace had. And so that's one of the rounds I gave Bad News. I think he fumbled on, you know, the clip longer than the top hat. It'll knock you back to where you got shot at. And then he fumbled a little bit on, you know, I get the mop with the pine saw or the Lysol or something like that. He had a little, you know, so I give Bad News a second round there. But the first and third I thought were pretty clear. So, Saga, what you think, man?
Honestly, I want to applaud Bad News for rewriting material the day before to fit what just happened at the face-off and having the ability to memorize it and have it so in the pocket, even if it was for the second. I don't think penalizing him for falling for bait is fair towards assessing the battle. I would say I would applaud him for doing that because you probably locked in, you got your rounds memorized, you're ready to go. All of a sudden you get an unexpected twist or turn and you change up your material the night before. That's incredible to me. You know what I'm saying? But I pretty much called it the same first round, even though Ace was cut off. I feel like he came with more memorable moments. I feel like Bad News, some of his bars were kind of outdated in certain instances. So I gave Ace the first, even though he didn't finish off that last bar. The second, I feel like it was a lackluster round for both, if I'm being honest. I feel like that was both of their weakest rounds. And but overall I edged it to Bad News. And the third, I feel like the third was their best rounds for me personally. But I ended up edging it to Ace. So like I had him first clear, second Bad News edge, and the third I gave the edge to Ace.
All right, cool. That's what's up. So let's go ahead and jump into the final battle that we have not recapped thus far. And to me, the best battle of the weekend. Question of that's the best back and forth we've had in the first round, maybe?
No.
You think Sick and Nightwing?
Oh, yeah.
And Castro and Chaos.
Castro and Chaos is fire.
Interesting.
Yeah, both of those.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, for me, the battle of the night this weekend was, wow, I just blanked on the names. Fonz versus Kruger versus Jay Kruger. Man, this is a battle where I didn't want to pick a winner because I enjoyed it that much. I think the clearest round is Fonz's second. I think Fonz went stupid in that second.
He left Earth in that second.
But it doesn't. But I still want to make sure I give due and credit to Kruger because I felt like Kruger came back with some really dope stuff in that second. It just wasn't enough. And I edged Kruger the first. I thought Fonz turned up in the second, and the third edge to Fonz. And the dope, like I said, dope back and forth. I hated to see Kruger go home. He is growing to me into one of my favorites that I enjoy watching. Like I said in the prediction, short in stature, but he doesn't rap like a little guy, in my opinion. So I'll Saga, since you're joining us for the first time, I throw it over to you. Your thoughts on Fonz versus Jay Kruger?
Man, Fonz versus Jay Kruger, like you said, I don't even think there's a doubt in my mind. That was the battle of this week of Ultimate Madness, period. Um, but I love the back and forth. Honestly, I scored it a little different. Honestly, I scored it a gentleman's 30. I scored it a gentleman's 30. I kind of edged. I got Fonz if Fonz was a 10, then Kruger was at like a 8 or a 9, depending on what he was doing in that round. But I had Fonz just clearly I don't know. It was something about how he was just putting stuff together, man. The whole Kruger caffeine situation he did, he had moments. You know what I'm saying? Not to take away from Jay Kruger, but I feel like Fonz just had it was a great battle. It's one of those battles where you're not even mad at Jay Kruger for losing. You're not mad at Fonz for winning. It's like, damn, can we just run that back again real quick? You know what I'm saying? So I got Fonz with a gentleman's 30. You know what I'm saying? That was a great battle. Great battle.
All right, Loso, how'd you score?
This is why we said, this is why at least what I said, Fonz should be people's dark horse pick. I know you got the Ace Amins in here. I know you got the Jada Nightwings. I know you had the Don Marinos and the Kid Kat, but my thing is Fonz's style, especially in a room like that with his stature, and he's a version of Av, you know what I'm saying? And when you're in front of somebody who can punch like that, it's gonna be difficult if you're just trying to punch them. You know what I'm saying? Fonz is gonna have a difficult time against somebody else who's gonna bring a different element of rapping. But I also thought that Fonz edged every round. I think Jay Kruger would have beat everybody else that night, though. I think Jay Kruger probably would have beat everybody else that night, and that's just sometimes how it goes. You know what I'm saying? You're a Western Conference team and you won 45, 48 games, and you look at the Eastern Conference, you like, how did this 31 team make the playoffs? But that's just what happens sometimes. But Kruger, to me, I thought his stock definitely elevated after that battle. I think that people want to see a lot more from him. They can't wait till obviously he battles. I think he is going against Bad News. I'm pretty sure he's going to be battling Bad News, and
that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be a good battle. But Fonz, man, if that was your first time watching him, it's gonna now he has Easy, the block captain. I think he's heavily favored. You know what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and pick him as the favorite for that one. And hey, he may you have to start thinking if you want to go and start putting some money down, I think the safe bet, just based on what we saw, man, go ahead and shoot it to Fonz, because he had I think right now he has the 2 best bars of the whole tournament. I mean, Jay and Sick had some crazy ones, but that caffeine one and then the Kruger with no strikes, those 2 lines, bro, were crazy and creative. And shout out to both of them, man. They definitely put on.
Bro, if you guys, I don't know if you guys ever watched Fonz versus Jay when we had Born Legacy. I want to say Born Legacy 8. Yeah. When I was the same event I battled JC. It was in his hometown. You know what I'm saying? When I tell you, that's my first time ever seeing Fonz or hearing him for the first time. And bruh, I don't know why people sleeping. I don't know why they haven't been in tune with the stuff on the app. But I'm telling you, he's been putting in pain for a while. He's really gonna be a force to be reckoned with, even in this tournament, bro. I'm not mad at you even thinking he could take the 25 home. You know what I'm saying? Or we might see him in the finals. We might see him in the finals.
Sorry. And you say he battled Jada Nightwing?
No. J400.
J400. Yeah, my bad.
I was gonna say I missed that battle too.
My bad. I said Jay and I never finished it off. Yeah, J400.
So I'm gonna be a little critical, right? I did too have Fonz winning with a gentleman's 30, right? I had him edging the first, I had him clearly taking the second, and I had him edging the third. I thought when I watched his first round, I said to myself, Danny Myers picked him to win the whole tournament. You know what I mean? It was a light round to me, you know? He didn't have a whole lot of aggression or whatever. He was punching. He had some slick lines and some different things, but it just didn't, you know? And then when Kruger went, it was just kind of even, and I was like, well, you know, Fonz punched a little bit more. I'm gonna give him that. Then in the second round, I said, yo, what just happened? Like, this is a whole different battler. You know what I mean? Like the bars were just that much better. The performance, the aggression, like it's almost like he got comfortable. You know, like you get up to the plate, you strike out your first time. You know, now you know what the pitcher's throwing. You know, you get back up there and you're just kind of like, you know. And he just took off, and he didn't really stop from there. You know, I agree with you, A1. I think Jay Kruger is nice. I said it in last week's predictions that I hadn't tuned into a lot of these PG guys or whatever. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch Kruger, and I'm going to watch some of his battles or whatever. He's unique. I like unique people. I like people that look different, that talk different, that rap different, that don't seem like they're just cut from the same, you know, 2-bar, 4-bar, whatever, cloth or whatever. And so I rock heavy with that.
You know, it's crazy, Ward. I actually, on Gates of the Garden, I think I hosted his first battle on Gates of the Garden and had no idea who he was. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, me and Prep hosted his first battle, and then, like, maybe 4 or 5 bars in, I'm looking at him like, who this kid? Like, who is this kid? He's different, man.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal, bro. There's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, he's gonna be really good. He's got a bright future ahead of him. I'll say this much, and I'm grading you, you know, on a higher scale. Fonz, I think there's 1 or 2 more things you just need to add to what you got, you know, because you just don't want to be the guy who is almost as good as Av. And I just think that he punches like Av. He has that same style. Even Av was like, yo, he might join Cave Gang, you know. I don't know if they're going to charge him, you know, $25,000 as an entry fee or what, but, you know. But, like, you know, you just don't want to be that guy. And so when I saw Fonz up there, I saw some bars where he was kind of doing, like, the machine. Like, you know how you use your arms for, like, some of these gun bars and stuff. He looked kind of stiff. He didn't look kind of loose. He didn't perform it with, like, that, just that you know. And so maybe, like I said, maybe it was just nerves. Maybe it was just kind of, you know, first big opportunity. I mean, I've been on a lot of stages, and I consider myself to be, you know, but, like, I would be nervous battling in that room on Caffeine Live, on URL, you know, like on this big opportunity. I would have nerves too, so I can empathize with it. But yeah, I had him 3-0, and I just thought that, you know, I do think, and I'm counting you out, Easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.